Hi, I'm going to share with you today how you can connect with your guardian angel. This is a painting that I did 4 years ago. How you can connect with your guardian angel and how you can build your intuition. This is for women, this is for feminine energy. I am an intuitive love coach. I first started as a coach, I'm an engineer too, and I'm also an intuitive because we're all mind, body, and spirit. My name is Nicole Elissa and I am a love coach. And throughout my journey, I first started studying the mind, the subconscious, the emotional field, but then I realized too that there was like the spiritual field about it all. And in my videos, I share with you elements of feminine energy that go between the emotional, the subconscious, the spiritual. This video actually is going to be a little bit different. I was guided to do by the angels by Archangel Michael a training for women for the feminine consciousness on building your intuition. And why is that important? Because love is the area where there is the most amount of abuse. There's abuse of power, and but this has been happening for years. I'm getting for over like way more than 200 years. So I've also, with a really deep, clear desire in my heart, wanting to help women over the years, I've realized I was like, why is it that women, uh, the women that I grew up with, like they were giving so much in their relationships, but they were kind of being treated like maids. They were being subdued, and I really wanted to help. So I recommend that you watch this video because intuition. We always talk about feminine intuition, feminine power, but I feel like sometimes we can be very meek about our intuition or like fearful or shy about it. Sometimes the masculine or society or people that are overly logical see it as you're kind of being weird or woo woo with this, but we're all naturally intuitive, we're all naturally psychic. We just unconsciously block those channels. But what I realized too is because I am a very spiritual person, I believe in God, I believe in Jesus, I believe in the angels, and I respect, your belief systems. If you're rooted in love, I think we're all family. And I've worked with people from different cultures, different backgrounds. And I really believe that's important. I've experienced religious trauma over the years about just notice how my body just went kind of tense about it. So that's why I was originally surprised when Archangel Michael asked me to do this training. But I think it's because I'm inclusive, and I just want to help. So yeah, I wanted to share with you today how you can connect with your guardian angel and also how you can build your intuition. I'm going to also give you some examples of how the angels have helped me throughout the years, a special connection that you can have with your angels and how they're here to protect you. I wanted to say I recorded a video last night and I was just so excited to record it that I had a call with a client earlier. I got up, I went and used the bathroom, and I removed the microphone. And then when I got back, I forgot to put the microphone. So the quality of that audio is not that good. I could tell something told me, I'm grateful. The angels told me, Nicole, listen to the call, because I didn't realize that I didn't have the microphone. And when I heard it, I was like, oh yeah, some words are really hard to understand. But if you want to watch it, I'm going to keep it there so you can watch it, because I do say really genuine things that have helped me. If there's something that you cannot hear clearly, ask me in the comments. And I'm not gonna copy paste, like I'm just gonna be honest. Some things might overlap, but I wanted to create this space because it's all about love, and it's not about being woo woo. This is nothing, scary or anything. This is the highest form of love that I've known in my lifetime, and I'm so grateful. So I'm not preaching because I'm very sensitive to religious trauma. But what I will say is we all have guardian angels. We all have or spirit team, so to speak. And the first thing that you want to know, if you want to get to know your guardian angel, is know that it's important that you have accountability to it as well. Because sometimes we feel like we're like this lonely being, and sometimes unworthy of the guidance, but we are worthy of the guidance. The angels are the messengers. They're meant to communicate with us. We are meant to have a close divine connection with our intuition. So whether you believe in God, you believe in source, you believe in Jesus, you believe in Mother Earth, I respect it. We all have connection. You can call it like the divine father and a divine mother. So because I feel like most people are more comfortable, at least what I see online and social media nowadays, that they feel very comfortable talking about ancestors, but not necessarily angels. And I just wanted to say I respect it. I wanted to say that we all have guardian angels. I've always felt close to my angels since I was a kid. I could not explain it, but we have access, and they want to help us because our life is actually meant to be easier, you know. And what happens when you build your intuition? Like I said, we all have intuition. So how can you build it? Well, number one, you want to love truth. You want to love truth, meaning, how do I say this? Our relationship with truth can be very interesting. I feel very called to have this here, but I can move it a little bit just so I want to be more authentic. But we all have more genuine. So we all have our relationship with our intuition. But for some reason, some people try to subdue our intuition or knowing because they need to have control or power over us. And that's the harsh reality. We can find people that are trying to have power over us in offices, in religious places, in other kind of places, in schools. We, at a very early age, we might not realize this, but there's these dynamics that are really rooted in scarcity, where people want to have power over us. This could be a parent, this could be, I'm hearing to say a nun, etc. People from all walks in life. Okay, there's ones that I feel kind of sensitive to mention, but I want you to think absolutely all walks in life. There are people who get really jacked up by their title, and they feel like it's a form of siphoning energy. I actually go very deep into this in a 48-minute video that I did this week around how to protect yourself from cheaters, narcissists, abusers, etc. And that's a message that I got from Archangel Michael to share with you. So if you can realize this, if you realize this, it can be unconscious. People that you love are sometimes, because they feel insecure on the inside, they don't feel comfortable with you knowing things. So this is a dynamic that occurs since childhood. How many of you were trigger warnings, slapped in the mouth whenever you wanted to speak your truth, or told, you cannot speak that, I'm the parent here, or you should just obey, or as a kid, you shouldn't know that. So this is one of the ways in which we start to shut off our connection with our intuition or our truth, and we start to fit in, okay? Specifically as us women and girls, we were told additional things like you're ugly when you cry, you're meant to be a good girl, you're meant to obey. I'm hearing there were women in your family that had to be alphas or parents, or maybe it was the man, maybe it was your parent. Maybe there was an unspoken thing about you being a girl and not making sense, or being nonsensical or ditzy, or you couldn't be trusted. Maybe you're shamed for your femininity. They constantly told you that you needed to be logical, you needed to make sense. And how that made you feel on the inside started to block your intuition, and your connection and your knowing. And we started to adapt a very 1, 2, 3 step, building block kind of knowing. But what I realized about intuition, and that it's actually, it's very fluid. It's actually very, very playful. It's really connected to the consciousness of joy, which is one of the highest consciousness right before enlightenment. So that's why kids are naturally, in many cases, intuitive. You don't need to see things in a textbook to know what it is. You just feel things. But when you feel things, you can also feel whether it's quote unquote safe for you to mention it, because you might have picked up your parent's sadness, something was off, but you also might pick up that your parent might have tried to subdue you or shame you or ridicule you if you said something. So because we can sense energies, specifically when we're kids, because we're trying to adapt in the world, well, what happens if in that environment, you just were taught that you needed to behave, you needed to be rigid, you couldn't speak up, you couldn't listen to conversations, you felt maybe a sense of threat or danger in your system. So that's why I say we're all naturally intuitive, we're all naturally psychic, and we always have that connection with God, with source, with our angels, whatever you want to call it, like acceptance, right? So this is the thing. You might have not felt safe saying that. You might have felt like I need to fit in, or because there's a dynamic of power, or there was a dynamic of power with your parents, or maybe teachers. That's why I say it's in all fields. You couldn't know more than the teacher. You couldn't know more than your parent. How many of you felt this happened to me growing up? Let's say if I knew something more than my dad when I was learning in school, or if I knew that he couldn't pick it up, or like if we were doing math and I could tell that he didn't know the thing, I kind of shrunk so that I actually am realizing that I've done this before to fit in with the crowd because I actually felt that if I knew things, people would love me less, they would leave me, they would criticize me. I grew up in an environment where I was constantly bullied by my parents. Constantly. I realized that my parents would try to make me feel dumb when they didn't know something, but they had no accountability or acknowledgement within themselves to realize, hey, it's probably me. I don't know this, but I need to make her feel bad about her achievements, etc. So I realized if I know more things, people are not going to like me. This used to happen in school. So I associated knowing things with not being liked. Some of you in school, you might have known that you were kind of like a know-it-all, but there was also a sense of, you dimming yourself, your light, because you felt like people wouldn't like it. How many of you actually were you told by your parents? My mom used to tell me this all the time, Nicole, it's just that this was the only time that she actually gave me kind of a compliment. Kind of. She said, you're intelligent or you're smart, but with a man, you need to laugh. Men don't like it when you are smart or intelligent. I almost want to say, look at me now, because that's actually one of the things that has worked for me. But I had to change that narrative within my psyche and my energy, because this is the thing. A lot of us women were taught we needed to kind of fit into the image of the man. How many of us were so shamed, ridiculed, admonished for knowing things, told that we need to fit a standard, just look pretty? How many of you told it it's just best if you look pretty? And that's what a man wants. You might have fought that, okay? Because I work with a lot of women. I work with women from, whether it's anxious attachment to avoidant attachment. So depending on the attachment style, you might have felt like, I actually just need to look pretty. I need to be quiet. That would have been like more of the anxious attachment. But some of you might have been fighting like, I don't need that. I'm hearing like, screw men, and I don't need to fight. But here's the thing. Whether you were into the anxious attachment or whether you were in the avoidant attachment, regarding these messages that were being shoved to you, basically, regardless of whatever, if you felt like you had to fight those beliefs, here's the thing and how this can impact your intuition. You can have those beliefs deep down in your subconscious or in your unconscious. So even though you can have this strong sense of, no, I'm me, I'm going to be me, but deep down, you might have, this is the thing about energy layers and intuition. Intuition is about awareness, being able to have full awareness of something. And what happens is that deep down in your psyche, you might have, I'm not going to be loved if I know too much. Boom. That can block your intuition and also can impact what you're attracting in love. But when you clear that, meaning you do a reprogramming or a reharmonizing of the energies where you feel safe being loved, being safe being your authentic self, being safe, being intuitive, your full expression of, I'm hearing your brilliance, being smart, your creativity. When the feminine feels that sense that you can be the fullness of you, wow, there's nothing like it. But I'm asking you right here, right now, please step up, because I actually want to hang out with you. If you feel like you can be the fullness of you, be loved, be cherished, not be admonished for it, because we can learn from each other, right? We can all learn. But this is the thing. There's a lot of things that are happening in the unconscious. And remember that if you do join this event that we're hosting on developing your psychic intuition with your angels, I will share with you the name of your guardian angel and the archangel that you're working with privately so that you can grow more. So I just wanted to say that in case you need to go or you need to come back. But the link for you to join is below. We're starting tomorrow, but it's a special event because as women, we've been so conditioned to going to I don't know land. I always say this, the number one thing that I realized, I've been doing this for almost 9 years. Actually, like in a couple months, it's 9 years officially. And actually, no, it's 9 years already. But the thing here is, I realize that as women, we say, I don't know a lot, which is the fawn, which is the freeze response, the flight response. We don't want to upset people. Women say, I don't know in a sentence more than most. We can say, if we're saying 3 sentences, I've seen cases where as women, we can say, I don't know 5 times. No matter what you're saying, if you're saying, I don't know, pay attention to this video, because what basically you're doing, you're confusing your senses. The thing that's closest to your intuition is what's right after the I don't know. It might not be the full answer, but it's closer to the truth. You need to feel safe to say the truth to yourself, to acknowledge the truth to yourself. So, intuition is about having full awareness and having clear senses. We all have our dominant senses. We have the smell, like the sight, the hearing, everything. But then we also have the spiritual hearing, we have the spiritual sight, spiritual feeling, and spiritual knowing. It's clear cognizant, which is clear knowing, clairvoyance, clear seeing, clear audience, which is, clear audience is about the audience, your capacity to hear things, and clear feeling, which is clear sentient. And there's more. So sometimes you can smell things, which is a sign of it, like your angels communicating with you. So, but I'm going to say what I'm going to get it, because I'm saying as women, we've been taught that we're crazy. How many of us have been taught like you're crazy or this? All like this energy is just lack of acceptance of ourselves, number one. Lack of just wronging of our being. That can create a space of confusion. Like I said, the fawning response or the freeze response or the flight response. I'm getting some of us as women, because we've been taught to be good and we need to be right so much. We might have a fear of getting things wrong and we don't even try. So this is why building your intuition can affect even like your finances, things that you meant to do. I remember, what inspired me to start this business and this like career, like in helping women, because I started as a life coach, but for women. And I wanted to help women because I saw this study that said that when there's a resume like when you need to apply for a job, women do not tend to apply unless they feel like they fit the role at least a 90-something percent. It's like, it's a fear in your system, like, oh, I don't know, I don't know, but which is a perfectionism, which is the shame programming. But then men, they apply when they feel like they fit in the role for 30%. Okay, I want you to understand how this perfectionism, fear of being wrong, fear of getting a bad grade, fear of being ridiculed, so many other different things, and the shaming, being told that we're crazy, we don't make sense, we're too emotional, makes us confuse our senses, and it can affect our intuition. So how does this affect you too when you are dating a guy? Well, there's not only those components of you feeling insecure within yourself, even though you're confident, even though you're making 6 figures, even though you're making whatever, like you can be different aspects of yourself in different moments in time, right? So one of the things that you need to learn with men, because this is the thing, we need to keep it like crystal clear and realistic in a way. I'm all about, like, I'm a Pisces. I'm big on dreams, and I will always encourage you to be your dream. And at the same time, because the thing is that sometimes we can be too idealistic. We want the soulmate, we want the Prince Charming, we want the king. But you also need to, I'm hearing, pay attention to the people who act as skins, but in reality are really insecure and are trying to control your light, are trying to control your essence and your beauty. As I was saying in the video about how to protect yourself from narcissists and all these sorts of people, we need to understand that there's dark personalities out there in the world, okay? When sometimes we're too innocent, we are too idealistic, specifically if you have some mutable sign energy in your chart, like Virgo, Pisces, Gemini, Sagittarius, or Cardinal, like whatever. You have to, like Capricorn, Taurus, like so many different things. But basically, we can be too idealistic. We want love, but we need to understand that there's dark personalities out there. This has been, humbly speaking, the hardest lesson that I've had to learn, and that the angels have been teaching me. They told me, Nicole, you're being, like at the beginning, you're being too idealistic. You also need to know how to deal with people who kind of disconnected from their essence and they're operating in scarcity. There are people out there that just want to control. It's free will. You cannot save them. You can only work with people who love themselves, who want to learn how to love themselves more, right? Who are willing to take accountability for themselves. And the same thing applies in love, okay? Meaning your partner. So you need to be able, because what this is a piece. There's a lot of insecure men out there who feel like their value is in subduing a woman. There's a lot of insecure men out there that are trying to how do I say this? They're competing with you, right? Because they cannot feel their light in their essence, so they try to like nitpick or chip at you. Okay, let's say you're making six figures, seven figures, however amount of money you're making however amount of money. There's always somebody around there lurking that's a little bit jealous of you. You need to be able to forget the idealism and be able to pick up what's really going, okay, what's happening in their essence, like in their essence. And you need to be able, like, this saves you time, this saves you money, this saves you heartbreak. How many of you have been around with jealous girlfriends? I'm getting to mention, have you seen a bunch of videos that have been showing up on, other platforms? You know what I'm talking about, like popular ones, where they're talking about like friends who planned like really bad things for their friends, and you're like, but I felt like it's a very sensitive thing. We all have to know how to protect ourselves better, and we cannot look at the world just through because I'm a Pisces, and this is the joke that I have for myself, because I used to see the faces of people like Care Bears. Like, I felt like everybody was a Care Bear. I just wanted to see the good in the person, okay? The good, the good, the good. I always immediately, no matter what, I wanted to see the good, the potential. But I have a Scorpio rising, and my Scorpio rising taught me, nope, you need to be able to see it clearly. But you need to also be able to balance your energy so that you're not closing off your centers of attraction when you're seeing the negativity in people, which is what a lot of women do. We get really emotional and we feel sad or lonely, and you're like, oh, but who can I trust? But then you have to be very mindful too, because there's people out there in these platforms, like I said, that are very popular, where actually, I'm going to be very honest with you. You have to be very mindful of who you're listening to. Like, yes, there's valuable advice, but you have to know too that it's capable that people are processing their trauma in front of you, and you're picking up all of that information. And we need to, as women, this is a message that I'm picking up right now to share with the angels. Like, they can overload your senses because it's their trauma. There's nothing wrong with processing trauma, but it's unhealed processed trauma. And it's like you have to agree before somebody starts, like before you start getting bombarded with a bunch of videos about these things, because that's how these algorithms work. You have to be very mindful, because regardless of whatever you're hearing online, you need to be able to have your own energy. You need to know that you can and you are going to attract exactly what you want. And that way you can filter the information that's coming in. You can be of assistance to somebody without taking it on. But right now, the way that these platforms are built, and if you notice, I do this as my Capricorn, I have a bunch of Capricorn placements. Right now, what's happening when you're just swiping like this, it's like you're not agreeing to something. Before, like in this platform, you would go to a person's profile that you wanted to connect with. It's like you made a silent agreement. I like the title of this. I'm going to go in energetically. I'm talking energetics. But what happens nowadays is that you don't even know, and you're just boom, 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 and it blocks your third eye, blocks your energy center, so you start to feel kind of low and weird. So I'm not saying to not use those apps, but hey, pay attention to the name of the person that you like, you want to connect to. Be very firm in your nose. I'm not interested in this type of video. Be very mindful, because no matter what, no matter whether it's like dark personalities in love or work, you can always attract what you want. So intuition is important. I wanted to share with you some of the examples and experiences that I have with the angels. If you wanted to join, develop your psychic intuition with the angels, the link is below. I would love to see you there. I wanted to share some of the really heartwarming experiences that I've had with the angels. I first, when I wanted to connect with my angels, I said to my angels, I want nothing scary. I'm open and I would love to connect with my angels. I just want nothing scary, like, so I'm making it as a joke. But was always really into crystals. I wish I had a celestite with me. There's this crystal that's really good at helping you connect with angels, but I have all of them in my room. So the thing here is that how do I say this? So nothing scary. And the next day I saw them with my clairvoyance, but they showed up like in the form of my grandparents, and they were like, you want nothing scary? Here's something sweet, and it helped me like open up. It was super warm, super nice, cozy. And those are some of my first experiences. One time I had gone through a really difficult time. I'm being very humble with you, and this is trigger warning. Somebody broke it into my space, tried to assault me. And I was getting intuitive nudges, but I was not that close with my angels yet that I needed to leave this space where I was staying. And but I didn't know logically, I didn't know how to move. I didn't think I could, and or that I had the time. And my logic was like later, later. I didn't understand that there was a danger or a threat. But the night, or when it happened, I started to feel like something could have happened, and I asked the angels to show me the truth. And something told me to wake up, and I was able to prevent something from happening. But we need to ask. The angels are constantly not. Well, I don't want to clarify that. They're always trying to communicate with you. Your angels, your intuition is always, always, always trying to communicate with you. But we need to have the clear senses, and that's why emotions, we need to know how to regulate them too, because when we have a lot of stored feelings of feeling unsafe, or like feelings telling us that we cannot trust our judgment. No, I don't know why my face went like that, but I'm getting, what I saw was like anger, like, okay, some people, okay. So some people have something about learning that we have as women is that there's an edge of competition in us. And here, sometimes we feel like a failure. We want to know things immediately. We are trying to process our senses through an angle of failure. Is perfectionism. It's disguised perfectionism. And I'm here. We can be so extreme in our when we're processing something. I'm getting there's so much competition in the feminine psyche that it can block your knowing or your intuition. What do I mean? I've noticed this. Women have this extreme shame of doing love work on themselves. But what you don't realize is that we need to, because we've been taught from a very early age that there's something wrong with us. What we need to program is actually that there's everything right in us. And that is the work that we need to do. Now, you need to also know your intuition to know who to work with, because there's people in this field or self-help, let's just call it self-help or self-development, where they will try to make you feel bad. They will try to make you feel like only their way is the way. I experienced this in self-development industry, where there was a lot of women who were the coaches or the trainers, etc., who had an unhealthy relationship with their feminine energy, and they were trying to teach you how to bypass your feelings and your emotions, how to be perfect all the time. They were shaming you. I'm being very humble with you, okay? Like, this was something that I had to overcome, because I cannot blame them. There's people, I have to be open to learning. But what would happen is that if I made one mistake, going back to what was happening before, where I was talking about we have a fear of making a mistake, there was so much shame that I felt in my body. So we need to be able to balance those things out, because when you are trying and fill up with love, see, that's the secret. Like, if you want to be able to connect with your angels, you want to be able to attract more, you have to fill your energy up with love, right? Because the angels and your intuition and your higher self do, and even like your ancestors, or whatever you want to call it, this is a higher frequency, meaning a frequency of love. And that's an open energy. It's not an energy of shame. So if you are trying to understand the messages that you're getting, maybe you're seeing angel numbers, maybe you're seeing things, but there's this, I'm getting almost like an anxiety or an adrenaline running through you, where you are, they just got the confirmation, where you're like, if I don't get this right, it must mean that I'm not good enough. Or I don't know, this is too much. Or even the fear of, am I doing something right? Like, should I be even connected with my intuition? It is your birthright, okay? The angels are the messengers, okay? We are taught to have discernment, okay? We need to have our own connection with source, whoever you want to call it. This is important. So we have such a high intensity energy on, and remember, just know, because I'm using my intuition to say, if you wanted to join this program, we're starting tomorrow to develop your psychic intuition with your angels. The link is below, and you also get $100 discounted, $111 discounted off of it. And you're going to know the name of your guardian angel and your archangel, all of it. So we have so much shame, and I've seen this. It's like a pressure to be perfect, a pressure to have it wrong. Like, it's something about the way in which we've learned things growing up in school, where there was like pressure and anxiety or dread. We need to be able to neutralize those feelings and those emotions, because it plays a huge role in what we are picking up on. It makes sense to why my dad always used to tell me, Nicole, you're not making any sense. You need to be logical. That was a huge block to my throat. I would shake whenever I had to speak. Even the first time that I had to like record my voice, I would shake, I would flinch. I always felt like I was kind of dumb around my parents, to be quite honest, even though I was not. I was not, but they were projecting that onto me. So why do I say this? Because as women, we have so much idealism and expectation of perfection that society places in us. You know, how many of you have like the fear of being mocked or ridiculed? All of those points in your system can impact your intuition. So that's why this training is 2 months and a half long, where you get to practice. Okay, you're going to be able to practice with your angels. And that's why we're doing live clearing work, and also work that I'm going to share with you, clearings with the angels, clearings to help release, boost your intuition, boost your knowing, help you feel safe on the inside, on a subconscious level, nervous system level. I don't know why I always feel like people get scared when I say nervous system, but nervous system is actually the deepest type of clearing for me there is, because it's helping your nervous system feel safe again, like spring back to life. You know, we hold emotions in our body. So you're basically giving your nervous system the authorization to release the fear, the shame, the trauma. And it's so powerful. You don't have to talk about your issues or the traumas for 8 years or months. Like in months, you can like change it, because it's like you're giving your nervous system a little TLC, right? Like, or like taking it to the spa, but on an emotional level, and it's releasing things. And what you're basically saying is safe for me to sense things. It's safe for me to know things. It's safe for me to believe in what I know. It's safe for me to have my own space vibrationally, where I command it and people are not trying to control it. And therefore, I can easily sense when somebody's trying to come into my field, siphon my energy, take away my power, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So this is so rich. This is so deep. And it's designed for women. It's designed for women, so that, you know, you're confident. Let's say you're making 6 figures and you want to make like 8 figures, right? Your intuition will guide you there. Your angels, they want to help you. You need to find a better job. They will help you. They will give you the tips. They will give you ahead of time the warnings. This is not a good boss, or this is not a good man today. Like, he's going to try to do this. I promise you, you will be able to practice this, and you will start to hear things. I will say this, this is going to require some practice. You will start to notice a profound shift within 6 months of doing this training. Like, you have to keep on doing this. Our intuition is the most important thing there is, okay? It's part of our wisdom. And I wanted to give you another example of how the angels have helped me. So yeah, I had a situation back with the angels where I needed something. I went through that experience where, like, you know, somebody tried to assault me. And I was really alone. But the angels were there. I would say it was like 4 months of extreme isolation. But the angels were there. What I remember the most, the help that I received the most, was the angels and the crystals that they helped me, because I was able to nourish myself. And I remember I saw like this vision of the angel, and I asked, you know, I need this kind of help right now. And they said, but we're going to give you this. And I didn't understand it. And I said, but I need this. And they said, but we're going to give you this. And I didn't understand what it meant. But later that day, I completely let it go. Somebody reached out to me, like a friend that was like a soulmate, you know, like one of those, like, because soulmates are not just romantic, right? Somebody who I saw for like, that I hadn't seen in years, reached out to me, and they said, I don't know why, but I feel inspired to give you this. And it was the exact thing that the angels said that they were going to give me. And I was in awe. It didn't take me a second to remember, but I was in awe. I was in awe, and it was such a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful experience. Beautiful experience. I've also been in hospitals. This is my personal opinion. I'm gonna leave it like that. So where I was really, I was in a hospital once, and I was treated like the way that I was treated was unnameable. And I just didn't make sense. They were treating me like I was not a human being. They disregarded my pain. They disregarded what I was going through. And I realized the angels later told me that it was due to racism, right? We've heard like the things about Black women and how they're treated. And I was shocked. I was in shock, but it was information that I needed to not go there again, right? So it's my personal experience. I'm not criticizing everybody in the field. Like most of my friends are doctors, right? And I love them to pieces, and they're really helpful. But this was just something that was happening in the moment. I share other experiences in the other video, but for example, I have like serious situations where they saved my life, like several of them. When I was given like forewarnings, like one time I entered like the highway in the wrong lane by mistake because there was no clear signals, and all the cars were able to stop, and I was able to turn back. And I had had a dream months before that had happened, but I was doing the prayer that I learned about Archangel Michael to protect you, and it really helped me. And fun experiences, I won the lottery too. Like first I helped my mom win the lottery once because I had a dream, and she showed up in the dream and she was telling me to buy a ticket for, like 40 times. And I was like, interesting. I never liked my relationship, like my mom's relationship with the lottery, just because, to be humble with you, I had like, there was a lottery ticket seller when I was probably like 9 who shamed me in front of her, just because I was upset that my mom was buying the lottery at that time, because my mom, I wanted her to buy me something, right? Or I wanted us to go somewhere, but she didn't. She just wanted to like buy the lottery at that time. But then the lottery ticket seller like shamed me, and she said something really horrible. And I remember that I kind of just shut down from that experience, because I could tell that she just wanted to sell, but she didn't have to shame me, and my mom didn't defend me either. So I was always kind of like shut down from that experience. But I said, hey, I have this dream. Let me tell my mom what I heard in the dream. My mom didn't listen totally because she had just woken up. She went and bought like some tickets, like she got it over the phone. But it wasn't the total amount that she had told me to get in the dream. The number did play in the first place. She could have won like thousands. I also had one time a situation where I wanted to manifest. I wanted to go to a training, self-development training, and I had to travel for it. And I remember, this is the thing, I'm going to use this example because this is a light one. Like, I remember I was at a party, a friend's graduation party. She was graduating from medicine. And I saw that this lottery ticket seller came into the restaurant where we were celebrating the party, like a Saturday at night. Like, it didn't make any sense. I had never seen a lottery ticket person show up. And I've never seen that. I've never seen that in like at night, at least where I live, right? And so I noticed intuitively, like in my mission, it was my mission to manifest like the money that I wanted. I was like 4K. So I wanted to go. So I see the first sign. I see this person come in, and I'm like, this is like kind of like in the Matrix, like an odd element, right? I'm looking at it, and I asked for the ticket, but I was kind of being like a tightwad because I wanted to go to the trip. So I see my favorite angel number of all time, and I'm like excited, and I could have bought it, to be honest with you. But my logical was kicking in, like a shaming perfectionism. I had a friend next to me saying, you're going to buy a lottery, So, but I kept looking at the tickets for like 10 minutes, and I was seeing the angel number, and I wanted to buy it, but there was a shaming energy around it. So I decided to prove my faith, or like my energy, or like my trust, by buying just one random ticket, but not buying the angel number, which is several of them. I could have paid like $5 for them, but I just chose not to. I was going to say I'm going to give $1 at this time. And my mom the next day called me, and she kept telling me what was playing in the lottery, which she had never done in her entire life, never. But she kept calling me like, "Oh, this played." I was like, "Okay, I don't. Okay, fine." And I had even forgotten that I had gotten the ticket. So I hung up the phone, and then she calls me again for the second number, and I'm like, "Why is she calling me?" And then she starts telling me what's playing the third prize, and I froze. I froze. Why? Because she was telling me the angel number, the one that I could have bought. And I knew that the last number was going to complete the full number for the angel number. And the angel was trying to say, see? 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 And I was like, oh my God, it did play. And I could have won like $8,500. And I was like, all right, I still manifested it, but that would have been an easy, fun manifestation, So it was very interesting. It was like in the universe used my mom too to tell me, hey, check it out, check it out. But to end the story in a good way, one day I have another additional story, but I'm not going to say this one, it's in the other one, where as the story evolves, a couple years ago, maybe like a year and a half ago, I had a dream where I saw the number that played in the first prize in the dream, and I was like, I I don't buy lottery like that, you know. But I just saw the dream, but it's kind of like what the angels wanted to share with me. So I I saw the number. Interestingly enough, I knew where to go, and I knew where to go. I got the ticket. I got several of them. I trusted, and I did win. I did win, but I was had so much clarity about me. So that's a fun experience. But like I said, I've had experiences where the angels saved my life. There's been moments where they told me to leave a place, and right when I left, something really bad happened afterwards. Several instances like that. I've been able to help friends in really fun experiences where I'll show up in a dream, or they'll show up in my dream, and I will help them, you know, be safer or experience a different kind of thing. Or it's very interesting. I've noticed that there's like a web, where the guardian angels communicate, and they're figuring out like who can help you with this and who can help with this, and let's try to connect them here. So it's a really fun experience. They will help you make more money. They will help you, but always do good. Be very mindful. They're not going to be like supporting like greedy. Like I'm not saying there's. I want to say greedy, because when it's coming from scarcity, they're not going to support you trying to siphon someone's energy, or be jealous, and they will call you out. They will encourage you to release the energy. It's more like it. They're going to be very loving. They're going to be very nurturing. They're also going to call you out lovingly. But you have your intuition, whether it's connecting to God, to your angels, to Mother Earth, like your higher self. You can choose how you connect. What is the easiest, most loving, most harmonious way for you to connect? You might see signs through movies. You might see things when you journal, when you're writing. I'm going to share with you how you can connect with your angels as you're writing, with the help of your crystals, meditation too. There's different forms in which you can connect, and I'm going to guide you through this process. But it's not just to connect, but it's also going to help you regain your power. And we're going to help soothe those energy centers within you where people try to siphon your power, so that you can feel in control. You're powerful, you're clear, and you feel like a superwoman, basically, like a super powerhouse is what I want to say. So I'm sending you much love. The event starts tomorrow. You have the opportunity to get $100 and $11 discounted off of the price point if you join. I think it's by Wednesday next week, and we're having an intro call, and then I'm going to be releasing like the training modules. It's going to be 2 wonderful and a half months. They guided me to do this training. It was not something that I was planning to do, because they want me to address like these power dynamics that deeply impact the feminine consciousness. Intuition is not just textbook, meaning if you see this, it means this. You need to have, it can mean that, but you need to have a clear, like a deeper relationship with your energy system, with your body, with your being, where you can trust yourself more, you can trust what you're picking up on, and also you can understand where like the interesting kind of tricky ways in which they can communicate, or like their language. I realized that it's more playful. Once I cleared this thing that I had to be logical, my intuition increased like a 35%, like in a day. In a day. Intuition is not necessarily logical. It's not just textbook. It's more than what you just read online. It's a live relationship. You need to be able to discern the clues, the insights, the wording. You need to feel super, super duper safe from within. The feminine, like we need to feel safe. But the thing is that we try to feel safe by needing the external environment to look a certain way, but that's not reality. Okay, we need to feel safe on the inside, and then we create deeper safety on the outside. So I hope that this connects. This is a wonderful message. Thank you to the angels. Thank you for the love and the support. I actually won a contest. Like they guided me to go to this event to paint this. Didn't know what we were painting, but I went. Trusted. Didn't know to know the full details. I just trusted that it was a safe space. And so I believe in love. I believe God and the angels. And here's the thing. I went there, and then they had like they were offering this spa treatment. It was like a price. And I want it. I want a spa treatment, and I want it. Like, I love spas and I love massages. So it's a really fun thing. You got to let yourself receive, and they will always help you and nurture you and care for you. So I'm sending much love. And if you want to join me, I would love to see you there. And if you have any questions as well, like let's say if you wanted to connect before you join and you've had any questions, the link for you to set up a free assessment call with me there is available. But please, just do it if you're interested. This is a safe, like I'm doing a lot for this training. Only if you're seriously interested in doing the program or working with me privately. And I can help you too. Like, they want to help you attract your soulmate too. They'll whisper things to you like, go to this place, go have fun, and you can meet your soulmate. Or they might tell you travel to this place or expand your horizons. Make it fun, make it blissful, make it light, and enjoy your life and co-create with the help of Source, God, your angels, Jesus, whatever you want to call it, like your spiritual belief system. We are loved, we're protected, and they're trying to communicate and help us. It's not meant to be lonely or anything like that. So I'm sending you much love, and I'll talk. If you want to watch the other video on how to protect yourself from narcissists, where I go deeper into this topic, then I'll put the link below as well. Take care.